Hey, welcome to the Michaud Mission, Two Men, One Podcast. Every black film ever made. My name is Len, aka the Bat Tribble. And as always, I'm joined by my partner.
Hey, what's going on? It's Vincent Williams.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing down the winding road to episode 300.
Yes.
And we are here at episode 278 with Vincent's selection from 1967, Sidney Poitier, Katharine Hepburn, her niece, Catherine Houghton, and in his final screen appearance, Spencer Tracy, making his first stop on the Michaud Mission as we review Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Yes, and we continue our parallel journey, the Devrel Martin mission, apparently.
Who knew that Oscar Michaud and Devrel Martin were synonymous for being the birth of black cinema?
I don't know off the top of my head. Devrel Martin may have been in more movies that we've watched than any other actor.
Maybe, but Devrel Martin will be the star of a very special game that I will be playing with you in just a moment here on the Michaud Mission.
Yes.
But first, as always, we want to give a shout out and send our regards to everyone out there in the chat watching us as we are streaming live via StreamYard on Facebook and on YouTube. Hello, missionaries. How are you all?
Good evening. Good evening.
All right, we've got a packed show for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Vince, we got emails that we have to read.
Okay.
We've got a very special request
Yes.
review
Yeah.
that we have to do.
Yes, Toya almost made me late.
Yes, we'll get into that. But first, what a lot of people ask us, they like the show and they want to help support the show. And
Yes,
there's a couple of ways
yes.
that you can support the show, ladies and gentlemen. The first way is really just tell a friend
Okay.
that you are enjoying the show, that you like it, and tell them about it. Tell it wherever they get podcasts that they can find the show and they can listen to it.
Absolutely.
Check us out.
And we appreciate all of that.
We really do.
Yeah, we really do.
But the other way that you can really help us is by wherever you find your podcast, give us a 5-star rating and a review, because believe it or not, that really helps people find our show.
Yes, it does. All about the algorithm.
It is all about the algorithm, Vincent. You're absolutely correct. And we got a 5-star review.
Oh, that's nice.
On Apple Podcasts.
Oh, that's nice.
Just on 1031. And this actually was a review that made me stop and almost tear up.
Oh.
It is from Kijana.
Oh, thank you. Hey, Kijana.
Kajana, excuse me.
Hey, Kijana.
I'm younger than most in terms of the target audience for this particular show.
Okay.
But at times, I feel as though it really connects to me on a deeper level, as though I'm right on the side of these gentlemen during the recording process.
Nice.
As a young man on the verge of entering the 3rd decade of his life, this show lays a foundation for looking at films from a new perspective and from different angles, pondering new ways to intertwine with the nuances of these films. You may not always agree on their stances, or some of their opinions. You will think that the stance may be justified.
Okay.
Nonetheless, this show is worth the shot of a listen. The one that I first listened to was Fresh, and it is still my personal favorite.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully, if you listen to enough, you'll take away which one stands out for you.
Oh, thank you, Kijana. I appreciate that.
I really thought that was so nice.
Yeah,
I
appreciate
thought it
that.
was sweet.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That was really dope. All right. Another way that you can help support the show is just let us
Envelopes
know.
of cold hard cash.
Well, you can do that if you that'd be nice. But if you can't do that, then you hit swag on our website.
Right, swag, right.
Buy a couple t-shirts and a mug or something. That helps as well. But another way that you can have your voice be heard is you can email us.
Okay.
Email us all of your thoughts and concerns at the Michaud Mission at gmail.com. We got an email from Sharon Eldridge.
Hey, Sharon.
I watched Sheba Baby today for the first time. So fun. You know what other film came out in 1975? Coolie High.
Oh, yeah.
I also just watched that for the first time today, though I have known of it for decades.
Should have watched that first.
I checked and I don't see that in your archive, and I wonder if it's on your list. Lots to talk about with that film. It laid the groundwork for so much that came after it. Love your show. See you Tuesday, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon. That's I don't want to speak out of turn, but that's is that your favorite? I know that's one of your favorites.
Mine? Are
yeah, yours, Coolie High.
It's a favorite of mine.
Yeah, I know you're a big Coolie High,
which is why I haven't pulled the trigger on.
I know, and it's why I haven't pulled it because I feel like it's yours.
I mean,
yeah.
I
know you love cool. I mean, I love Coolie High too, but I think you love it more than I do.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. And there's a part of me that, as I've always been like a real critical watcher of films, but now of course I'm even more critical.
I look, we'll talk about that later tonight.
So I like now, that's why I really I don't want to.
Right.
I don't know. Like Coolie High might be stuff behind like my Nia Long movies.
Right.
I don't know.
But you know what? You might be pleasantly surprised.
I might be.
Speaking of later tonight.
I'm just
like you might be pleasantly surprised.
You're right. I'm scared though.
I think it holds up.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
But Coolie High is of course on the list. Stand coming.
Most definitely. We also heard from Sherry D. Long time.
Hey, Sherry. Yeah.
In regards to our review of Jungle Fever.
Yes.
Thanks for that great Jungle Fever episode. One of my favorite movies. I remember so many reviewers saying that the film had way too much going on, but I loved it all. Great cast, as was mentioned. Excellent soundtrack. Back in the day, I made sure to get the soundtracks for Jungle Fever, Mo Better Blues, and Bamboozled after seeing each flick. Also, Clockers and He Got Game have some great songs and memorable scenes. Anyway, I really enjoyed your discussion. Great reviews. Keep it coming towards 300.
Thank you. I remember that during that moment where a Spike Lee soundtrack was a must buy. Like as soon as they dropped.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know why? And I think because definitely Spike Lee, he had his moment.
Right.
Where, he was the guy.
Right.
And rightfully so.
Right.
And not only if you were an actor, not only would you want to be in his movies, but if you're a musician, you wanted to be on the sound. You just wanted to be.
It was hot to be on a Spike Lee soundtrack.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Be in business with Spike Lee.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, most definitely. All right, so thank you for that email, Sherry D. Nice to hear your voice.
Yeah.
See a message from you after so long without hearing from you. All right, so as we mentioned, we got a special request from our social media director, Toya.
Yes.
Who wanted us, who asked us, beseeched of us.
I was about to say, and then there was a bit of emotional terrorism.
Yeah. Beseeched of us to review a new series that's on HBO Max, Love Life.
It's actually the second year.
And more particularly the second season of Love Life, which stars William Jackson of The Good Place.
Yes.
And you were a fan of The Good Place,
I
right?
was a huge fan of, and is it William Harper Jackson?
Maybe. I saw,
and I'm a big fan of his.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's streaming on HBO Max. This is the second season, but you don't have to watch the first season at all, because basically what this is, it's a show that goes through the love life of an individual person each season.
Okay.
And they're tangentially connected in that the first season, which starred Anna Kendrick,
right,
it ends with her wedding, and William Jackson's character is a guest at the wedding,
right, and then it just
picks up and
follows
him. I forgot. I wanted to bring it up.
It's almost like an extended Love American style.
Almost, yeah, like a season. Yeah, right. How that was a an anthology show.
Kijana, Love American Style was an anthology show from the mid 70s. That episode to episode.
It wasn't even episode to episode.
Sometimes they were right, like
they were just shorts.
Yeah, I barely remember Love American Style. Like I remember the credits. Like I was really young.
Everybody remembers the credit. You kind of remember the theme song.
Yeah.
And everybody remembers the great. There was one episode, and I think it was the whole episode, but it may have been a short that was animated because it was "Wait Till Your Father Gets Home." That was such a hit. They then spun that off into a short-lived animated series, prime time on ABC. I remember way too much, apparently. American Style.
And this is why I fuck with you. Because I know no matter how obscure, no matter, I know you are right there with me. Len, with the deep Love American Style knowledge. Bravo, well played.
Here's the reason why.
Well played.
Here's the reason why you're with me. Because the average person would be sitting there with their mind blown, like, how does he know all this about Love American Style? But your face was, I kind of remember that. I may have to do a YouTube dive.
Oh, I know we got to get to Love Life. Do you know what I spent? Oh, you know what I spent 20 minutes doing?
What?
Someone put together a 45-minute clip.
Oh boy, I think I know what it is.
Of all of the guests
on the Love
Boat.
I saw that.
I watched 20 minutes of it before I said there's got to be something better for me to be doing than this.
Oh, Nipsey Russell.
Oh, I didn't even get to the R's. I got to like the M's. Right, because they're in alphabetical order. And it got to like the M's, and I was like, I can't sit here and do this. This is I know it's dishes in the dishwasher or something. Like I'm just sitting here, and they're just looping the song.
I know the song just loops,
right? And you're like, Donna Michi was on Love Boat.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
So
I know.
So yeah, I'm all over this Love American Style. Somehow, was I watching an episode of Love? I know.
Meanwhile, Toya is twisting.
I know.
It's twisting. Like
I saw an episode of Love American Style with Flip Wilson.
Yeah, it makes that tracks.
Yeah, it was like Flip Wilson, and he was like a pool shark.
Yeah, that tracks.
I just saw that like last summer, and it was on something random.
Wow, like must have like MeTV or something.
I mean, it must have been MeTV.
Yeah,
but it was like, what is happening right now? But it was, I mean, that was Love American Style.
I mean, you said like mid 70s. It actually probably was more closer to the early to mid 70s.
Right. So, yeah. So I was really young.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but Love Life, which is sort of in the spirit of Love American Style.
It is. So Love Life, which stars William Jackson as Marcus Watkins, I believe. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And about, I guess, in the 30s.
Yeah, I would think early 30s.
Book editor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when you're introduced to him, he is at this wedding, like I said, with his wife.
Yes. Emily,
mm-hmm. Who was a white woman.
Yes, she is.
And William Jackson, for those who don't know, is a black person, a black man.
Yes, he is.
And at the wedding, he just happens to meet a random guest at the wedding,
mm-hmm.
this young black girl named Mia.
Mm-hmm.
And they just have an innocent,
played by
Jessica Williams,
who is magnificent.
Yes. And they have a nice little conversation. You know, is it slightly flirtatious? Perhaps.
Can I speak as the married man? He's out of pocket almost immediately.
Is he really?
Almost immediately, he is out of pocket.
Wait a minute. He's outside.
From the moment they exchange email addresses and he doesn't tell his wife, no. And he lies to his wife. He's now out of pocket. Like you are now.
Well,
like you're now in the Badlands.
First of all, he didn't lie to his wife.
He 100% lied to her because she said, "Did you mingle? Did you meet anyone?" And what did he say?
He said, "Nah." And then she said, "Oh, I thought I saw you outside talking to some lady." And he said, "Oh yeah, I was talking to some girl from another book company." Oh yeah, he did say that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
and then he didn't mention that they had exchanged email addresses and that he was Oh yeah, he was in the bad.
Okay, that was out of pocket.
He was in the Badlands immediately.
He was from there. He wasn't what I bump against immediately in that the conversation, them just having the conversation wasn't out of pocket.
No, not the conversation.
But the exchange of and even to a degree, the exchange of email addresses, because it wasn't phone number.
That's all above board, even though, like you said, even all that, let me send you
but you've got to tell. You've got you've got to to keep it above board, you got to be.
It's never the crime, it's the cover up.
Yes.
But go ahead.
Yes. So and then he becomes infatuated with this connection, this conversation, as one is wont to do.
It also doesn't help. She is like 30 times better looking than his wife.
Well, yeah, that's
part of the plot. That's not even
plot.
Me being subjective. Like that was actually in the narrative,
right?
Because
in the narrative is that he and his wife kind of like married, I think, like right out of college,
and he's kind of goofy and nerdy, and she's kind of goofy and nerdy, and Jessica Williams is like a 5'10" goddess.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and but them being goofy and nerdy, they also kind of like estimate that maybe they're not going to do any much better than each other, and this is what we're supposed to do because we've been together for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the calculation that's going on in their head.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now they're a few years later, I think like 7 years later.
Yeah,
and they're realizing that it's it's more than a rut.
Right.
Things is not
right. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
And then he starts texting with Mia, of course, and and he's not telling the truth to his lady because they're hanging out. And he's saying he's going out with the guys.
Those who aren't watching us live, or you're listening to this on the podcast, you probably can't hear me shaking my head, but
you are shaking your
head.
I
am shaking my head the whole because this was terrible. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is. It is just he's just all sorts of wrong. And early on, after the initial connection, he does reach out to his bull.
Yes,
he reaches out to his friend, and I want to bring up the. I
only watched the first episode, but he was my favorite character.
he was your favorite character. Nice, Vince. He reaches out to his friend. Okay, I gotta. Oh man, this is taking me. I'm forgetting his friend's name. That's what's messing me up. And we're doing this live, ladies and gentlemen. So just give me a moment. It is not Yogi.
Yeah, it is.
It's Yogi. Yeah,
it is Yogi.
You're right. Played by CP, who's a comedian.
Yeah.
He reaches out to his friend Yogi, who's married.
Yes.
With kids.
Yes.
And as his best friend.
Yes.
Tells him,
yes,
dead this dog.
You need to dead this immediately
and go home.
Yes,
to your people. To
yes,
your lady.
Go home, love your wife.
Right, go home, love your wife. Right, which is amazing. It's an amazing moment in Black cinema because how often is the best friend played as like, oh dog, yeah, you got to do do that.
I think it's him and Lil Rel in Get Out are the two greatest Black male friends in the history of cinema.
Perhaps.
Lil Rel in Get Out, who told him don't go up in the mountains.
And
Yogi, who said you need to stop. He actually says you need to kill this Mia thing immediately.
Yeah, he did before it even go any place, and of course he didn't listen. And then it all plays out, and I don't want to spoil.
No, because it's Toy. If you're on the edge of your seat, I'll just speak for myself. It's really good.
I will speak for myself.
Okay.
Because Toya did ask us to watch the first episode.
Right. And I watched the first episode, but
I am on episode 4.
Okay.
Because I really like this show.
You're all in.
I'm all in.
Yeah, I'm all in. I'm so all in that I finished the first episode, and appropriately enough, I said, I'm gonna have to watch this with Wendy.
Yeah, you do. Because
I can't watch anymore until we can watch it. Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to spoil the show.
Okay.
But we do have to spoil a little bit of episode 1 because it's a conversation I got to have with you.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Now, in episode,
if you don't want to be spoiled by about anything with the show, just skip the next couple of minutes.
Yeah. Skip. About good 10 minutes.
Go listen to the In the Heat of the Night episode. And then come back.
Go tell us what you thought of the Fresh episode. Do you agree with Kajan?
Classic Sidney Poitier.
Right. So
they call me Dr. Prentice. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Why is he like an astrophysicist, rocket scientist?
Wait.
It's like, I think he's going to take her and her brother and her friend from the army who's a pilot, and they're going to go and be set by cosmic rays.
Wait.
Okay, go ahead.
In love life.
Yes.
So he's texting back and forth with Mia.
Yes, he is. He real out of pocket.
Real out of pocket.
Yeah.
And they hang out one day they do hang out.
Yes.
And it gets kind of cozy. Excuse me. It gets kind of cozy.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing happens.
No.
He ups and leaves.
Right.
In his mind, he regrets it a little bit, but when he leaves.
Look, yes. Because it's clearly a date.
It's clearly a date.
Okay.
And they both know it.
Right.
They both kind of know it. It's like,
right.
Hey, we're messing around on this
type
of vibe.
Yeah, but this is clearly a date.
But let's,
all right,
whatever.
go ahead.
And he's not with it because he's the married one. She is in a relationship.
Right. She has a boyfriend who's always out of town.
So if I remember correctly, he then, finds out that she's sick.
No, you skipped over the museum.
Oh, no. Okay.
Because then they go out on a diggity date.
Okay. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Right. They had a lunch date where she gets the chicken Caesar salad where she replaces the chicken with broccoli.
Right.
Which I was intrigued by.
Right.
I was like, that's probably really healthy. And it probably tastes good. It's actually a good idea. It's really well written. Like, I really like
it. It's a very well written show. And it's a beautiful show.
And that's where I was. I was thinking about a chicken Caesar salad where they replace the chicken with the broccoli. Like, that's probably a good side.
Yeah, but it's not a chicken Caesar salad.
No. But you see, like, I mean, she actually explained it really well.
Taste of the Caesar,
right. So, like, if you get like a grilled chicken breast or like, hell, a steak. Like, if I get a steak and then I'll say, well, I also want a chicken Caesar salad, but replace the chicken with broccoli. That's probably really good.
Yeah, maybe.
But then they also went to the museum that night.
Yeah. Okay. So they went to the museum that night, and then that's when they then go back to her house.
Yes, they go to her apartment and
and it gets real tense. It looks like something might happen.
I mean, look, she said you can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want, and he leaves. He up and leaves.
He does leave. Yes, he does.
And then, okay, I'm trying to remember when
then after that, the next day
is when she says she doesn't feel
sick,
well,
and then he just walls out.
He just wilds out.
Right,
She says
right.
she doesn't feel well.
Right.
And he said, and he just like all of a sudden he's going to be captain to the rescue.
Right,
he goes
right.
buy soup.
Right. And it goes and drops by her house unannounced. Which is the best thing to do when you're dealing with somebody who has a boyfriend. How could
Right.
that,
And
how
you're
could that
married.
possibly go wrong?
Well, there's 9,000 ways it could go wrong. But you would go through all 9,000 before you think when you open up the door that a 6'10" Amari Stoudemire is going to walk out the door and say, "Yo, babe, you order Postmates?" Like, yo, that is like, oh.
That's the greatest use of a professional basketball player as a boyfriend since Biggie's I Got a Story to Tell.
You're silly. You're silly. You're silly.
I laughed so hard.
We got to hurry up. Farrell Blackwell is listening to 10 minutes of the Girl 6 soundtrack.
All right.
Reading here in the chat. Right. So anyway, so now, you know, that shock to the system.
Yes.
Sends him back home like, okay,
right.
All right.
He goes home. So I don't know what happened. They got rained out or something. I don't know why he was there.
Mia's out of my system, whatever.
Right.
Goes home.
Yes.
Opens the door.
Yes.
And at that point,
yes,
he gets crestfallen.
Yes.
Because sitting across
the
room is his wife.
Yes.
Sobbing.
I don't know how much she was crying.
Well,
she was hot.
She was hot, but there was a little, there was some,
a little tear, but
there was a little sadness mixed with
the
anger.
tears were evaporating because
as she sat there with his iPad.
Yes.
Which is synced to his iPhone.
Yes. Which he was texting back and forth with this woman and his best friend.
Yes.
About this woman.
And about his wife.
And about
how this woman understands him more than his wife of 7 years.
With the implication because she's black.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then the first episode
ends. And I don't know anything else, so don't.
Fine.
All right.
Fine. Amazing.
Yes.
Like you said, well written. It's funny.
Yes.
It's romantic. It's suspenseful.
I love Jessica
drama.
Williams. I love William Harper. William Harper Jackson.
Great.
Yes.
Question for you.
Yes.
Okay. He is out of pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Make no mistake about
absolutely.
it. He's out of pocket the whole nine.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But
mm-hmm.
there's a reason why I don't have an iPhone. Because I don't need everything syncing all up. If I'm texting on my phone, I don't need these texts to be syncing to my iPad as well.
That's fair.
But my question to you,
is
though he is 100% out of pocket, could not an argument also be made that his wife is out of pocket
because she is
reading
invaded his privacy?
Yes.
I mean, sure, you can make that. Yeah, sure. I mean, you can.
I mean, you lose.
I was about to say, like, you can make. How dare you go through my stuff? Like, I mean, sure, you can.
It's. I honestly think. Okay, here's
the thing now, and I thought they set it up really well. She knew he was lying about something.
Oh, she knew it. Yes.
And again, to go back to what I said, where he was out of pocket immediately. From that moment, her spidey senses were going off.
Yes.
So now you just sort of follow
the breadcrumbs.
Yeah,
but okay, but ultimately the breadcrumbs get to a point where you have to make a decision to invade his privacy.
Yes.
And I personally have a problem with that.
Okay.
And I also have a problem that I have to imagine that on his phone as well as on his iPad, he has some type of security measure.
Probably.
I don't share my security.
Sure.
Because I'm single.
Right.
So you have to tell me.
Right.
Do married couples share their security on their phones and iPads?
I mean, I'm gonna have to paraphrase Django. I don't know about married couples, but me and my wife have our security like we do.
Okay. All
Like
right.
at any given moment, like I gotta answer the phone if somebody's calling her phone and she's in the shower, and vice versa. Or
Mm-hmm.
when them kids
Mm-hmm.
needs to get and use some, like my son was virtual last week, and I had forgotten code on his computer, and I was at work, and so use my computer, and so yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
now I know couples that are different, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think it's a judgment either way, but
Mm-hmm.
just the way it works smoothly in my house, it's best if everybody can get in everybody's stuff pretty immediately.
Okay. There's okay. But that then begs a different question.
Okay.
Because it's one thing to have each other's security code
Yeah.
for the times when you may need it,
Right.
like you said, and you answer the phone or something like that. There's another
One of them kids.
there's another thing about just randomly going into
Right.
your phone or iPad.
Right.
Now, you're fine with that.
I mean,
I'm asking.
I mean, in theory, I just don't understand why you would. Like everybody had their own stuff.
Well, I mean, but if you have your own stuff, then all right. My mom always
like sometimes if I'm driving and somebody texts them back and say this.
No, I hear you, but I'm just saying, like, to me, there's like she's like, I guess she's just looking to see whether or not her suspicions are correct. But is she not also looking for trouble?
I mean, there's an argument to be made. You know what? I don't know how far you want to go down this rabbit hole. There is an episode of Black Mirror that I teach. The entire history of you.
Oh, yes.
And the whole kind of theme of the episode is that basically, like, because of how intimate our relationships have become with our technology, that kind of wiggle room of there are parts of my life that you don't know about,
right,
has gotten so small. And is it better sometimes not to know?
Exactly.
Like short version and talking about spoilers. If you've never watched an episode of Black Mirror, I think it's the best episode of Black Mirror, the entire history of you. I recommend everyone watch it.
It's a fantastic episode of television. Yes.
But it does kind of make the argument of if your significant other has done some sketchy shit and you don't know about it.
Right.
And it's like over and done with. Like it was an episode, it's over and done with. Is it better that you just never, ever know about it? And it really does kind of explore that. I like to just bypass all that by not doing sketchy shit.
Well, there's that. That's the cure.
Right. Like just don't, because just like he gets caught in this, like we were talking about, it's just look. I got the phone hooked up to the radio in the car, and my nephew actually peeped me to this. My nephew, who is single, said he can't be hooking his phone up to the aux cord.
Oh no,
because the messages pop up everywhere. And I feel like the newer Apple Watches, there was some type of privacy setting. Because people could see the messages and somebody, got, but look, I think boundaries are subjective, and whatever the boundaries and whatever works for you, works for you. I think this is a bad case to talk about it because he was amazingly wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Like 5 minutes into the episode.
He is. Yeah, he that's very true.
So,
very true. Miss Makiba, hey Miss Makiba.
Hey Miss Makiba
says they're married. That's their iPad. Well, if it was their iPad, then there would only be one iPad. But they each had iPads.
I mean, did they?
Well, I think they did. I mean, she wasn't just checking. I don't think that that was a community iPad.
Right. Because his texts were going to it.
Yeah. So, no.
Yeah.
No,
it's kind of hard to be the victim when you're dead wrong.
I know. Trust me. Yes, that's why I'm talking about it in the subjective. But
Judge Judy would say clean hands. You gotta have clean hands.
True. Well, let me just say this in conclusion. Even though we may have spoiled the first episode, it's still worth watching.
Oh, it's very good.
And as someone who has continued on further paths, Vincent, let me tell you, it only gets better.
Look.
So, and
I mean, you can tell they were trying to blow up his life so that you can then see him.
And that's all I'm gonna say. But the mark of a good television show is the conversation that evolves from it.
Right.
So this is a very good television show. I didn't watch season 1. I like Anna Kendrick. I don't feel like I need to go watch it. I'll trust that it was okay.
Sure.
I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this world that we are living in. And it's pretty dope. So thank you, Toya.
Yes, Toya. Thank you, Toya.
For turning this on.
Toya told us if we didn't like it, she was gonna stop talking to us. And so it's like
we can get a ferret to do our social media.
About to say, like, that's not really fair, but okay.
Yeah, it's not fair at all.
Yeah,
but that's cool. All right. Okay, so before we get into our review,
hopefully Pharaoh Black could hear screams of passion.
Miss Makiba is sending him the signal that it's time for him to come back.
Right.
He had jumped back a little early, and she said, "I haven't given the signal."
Right.
But now he's back.
Right. But like I said, hopefully he heard screams of passion.
All right,
and came back.
So, before we get into our review tonight of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching along with us, as many of you do on this mission, both Vincent and I were surprised, even though we've seen this movie before. I'm sure you've seen it before. We were surprised that Devrel Martin.
Why is Devrel Martin in this movie for one scene?
But memorable.
It's quite memorable.
And of all the scenes for Devrel Martin to show up in this movie, which has Sidney Poitier in it, no. Devrel Martin is sparring with Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn.
I feel like I vaguely remember Wesley Snipes playing Devrel Martin saying something like that in Dolomite Is My Name.
Like mentioning...
Right, I'm an actor. I've acted with Spencer Tracy.
And it's true.
Yeah, and he's 100% correct.
And he stood toe-to-toe with him. But because of how random it is that Devrel Martin came up.
Yes.
I have a game that I want to play with you.
All right.
Vincent. I hope that you will like this game.
All right.
I think you might be good at it. We are playing
like red light, green light.
It's not red light, green light. Right. But it is a game.
That thing with the cookie. You got
a game that people seem to love or loved at one time, and maybe they'll love it this time because we put a different spin on it.
If you pull out some marbles, I'm leaving.
As we play 6 Degrees of Devrel Martin.
6 Degrees of Devrel Martin. I like this already.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
So Vincent, I'm up for this. Yeah. All right. Here we go.
So
let's do this.
How many moves
to get from Devrel Martin to who?
First one.
All right.
Devrel Martin to Julia Roberts.
Devrel Martin to Julia Roberts. I can get from Devrel Martin to Julia Roberts in, let me see, because I know how I'm going to get to it. I just need to make sure I have my movies right. Oh, okay. All right,
you only got like 30 more seconds.
Okay. I'm going to go from Devrel Martin to, what's our man's name in Watermelon Man?
Godfrey Cambridge.
Devrel Martin to Godfrey Cambridge in Watermelon Man. So how many moves is that? Does that count as one?
That's one.
All right. Godfrey Cambridge to... How do I want to do this? Godfrey Cambridge to Oh, wait. Godfrey Cambridge to what's our man's name? We were just talking about him. Cooley High.
Lawrence Hilton Jacob?
No. Other
Glenn
dude.
Turman?
Glenn Turman. Godfrey Cambridge to Glenn Turman, 5 on the black hand side.
Okay.
So that's 2?
Yes.
Glenn Turman.
Yes, Glenn Turman.
Glenn Turman to
All right, Vince. I gotta call this soon, man.
Shit.
Okay.
I know I can get from Glenn Turman to Denzel Washington. It's just too much.
You went a long route, though.
I know. I was trying to be fancy.
Yeah, well, you trying to show off, but the show off.
No, because you said Julia Roberts.
Right.
So I'm trying to get from Glenn Turman to Denzel Washington, and then Denzel Washington and Julia Roberts were in
the Pelican Brief.
The Pelican Brief.
Yeah. Okay. But you could have gone Devrel Martin's in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier, who was in The Jackal with Richard Gere, who was in Pretty Woman.
Very nice. That's nice. See, I left Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Yeah.
I probably could have went from him to Sidney Poitier to who was Robert Redford in Sneakers? Who was in Sneakers with Sidney Poitier?
Robert Redford.
And from Robert Redford to
I don't know, what was he in with Julia Roberts?
I don't know, but between Robert Redford and Julia Roberts, there's got to be connective tissue.
I mean, there's connective tissue
pretty quickly.
Right. Okay. All right. Oh, you'll never get this next one, so I'll skip to the third one.
What was the next one?
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Devrel Martin to Kieran Culkin. Macaulay Culkin's brother, star of HBO's Succession.
Yeah, because I don't really know what all he was in. You're right. I'm not going to get that one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get that one.
You're not going to get that.
All right. Who's the third one?
The third one, you almost were there.
Okay.
So here's the layup for you.
Okay.
Devrel Martin
to
Denzel Washington.
Oh.
Okay. But I'll make this hard for you.
Okay.
Devrel Martin to Denzel Washington. 2 moves and 2 movies.
See, I know because I'm trying to get from Devrel Martin to Max Julian. Trying to be fancy again.
There you go. You always trying to show
like
off.
I'm going a long way. Okay, so all right, so Devrel Martin is in Watermelon Man. Devrel Martin was in Sheba Baby.
Mm-hmm.
What else did we see? Devrel Martin was in Dolomite.
He was in Dolomite,
which is useless for this.
He was in a Fred Williamson movie too. Is that Wendy?
No, it's a PTA meeting. What was he in with?
He's actually in a couple of Fred Williamson movies, but I think he was in what's that movie with him? With the sequel to Hammer, because he plays the Reverend.
Right.
All right, you're not going to get it.
I know.
Devrel Martin was in the final come down
With Billy D. Williams.
Maybe, but
I mean, that's Billy D. Williams' movie.
okay, that's true. But he was, but also in that movie was Raymond St. Jacques, who played Frederick Douglass in Glory.
Yes,
with Denzel Washington.
See, you're cheating because you have Devrel Martin's
I got the answer.
filmography
It's
in
my
front
guess
of
for
you.
you.
Yeah, but you've also got his filmography in front of you. I didn't have his filmography. Like, you sprung this on me.
Yeah, I know.
That's not really fair.
But I'm the host. Of course, I have the answers. I'm the host of the game show.
All right,
like,
look,
I'm not cheating.
all right, look.
Oh, now you want to play?
I just want to pull up his filmography because, like, you went to the final come down. You ain't never even seen the final come down. That's not cool. That's not right.
I played the game.
Nah.
Okay, you want to give me one? Give me one.
I ain't give you nothing. I'm looking at Devrel Martin's filmography, and when I have his filmography in front of me, then you
give me one.
You give me something. You give me something else while I'm looking at his filmography.
So give you something else? All right. Give you another person?
Right.
All right. Go from Devrel Martin.
Okay, go ahead. To who?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Smarty Pants.
Go ahead.
Devrel Martin to George Clooney.
Devrel Martin to okay, so I'll work backwards.
Okay.
George Clooney. Zen Facts of Life with Kim Fields.
Movies.
You didn't say movies.
Come on.
All right,
the
fine.
game is movies.
Fine. George Clooney is in Ocean's 11 with Bernie Mac.
Okay.
Bernie Mac is in
is black. Devrel Martin.
No. We're gonna get Devrel Martin.
Go ahead.
Bernie Mac is in
Guess Who? A remake of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which is actually a true statement.
All right, you threw me with a hat.
Yeah, I can go TV, of course.
Oh boy. Give me one more second, then we are going to go ahead and go. This is a good game now.
I know, right? It's funny. It's fun. All right, I'm gonna give you someone else.
This is a good game.
I'll give you another person.
All right.
Okay. Let's think.
What was Devrel Martin in Rosemary's Baby?
I know.
I was trying to get to. I was like, if I can get from Mia Farrow to George Clooney. Because, like, you can't go like Mia Farrow to Woody Allen.
George Clooney was never in a Woody Allen movie.
I know, but between Woody Allen and George Clooney, I feel like you hit them pretty.
You would think.
You would right,
but I don't know. Okay, here's the last one. This is fun. That's torture. I'm not gonna do that.
Woody Allen, Scarlett Johansson in that Woody Allen movie. Scarlett Johansson is in the Avengers. With
so you just picked your own person, Woody Allen. You're gonna go for Woody Allen.
I mean, look.
I got somebody for you.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Now you just made
Woody Allen, Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson is in Ghost World with Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi is in fucking the Coen Brothers movie.
He's in like a bunch of them.
Pick one.
Fargo.
No. What's the one he's in with John Goodman? Is he in the Big Lebowski? He's in the Big Lebowski, isn't he?
Is he? I don't remember.
John Goodman is in Oh Brother,
Where Art Thou?
Where Art Thou with George Clooney.
Well, wait a minute. But where'd you get? Where's the connection to Devrel Martin?
Devrel Martin, Mia Farrow, Woody Allen,
okay.
Scarlett Johansson,
Okay.
Steve Buscemi,
Okay.
John Goodman.
Okay.
So I'm right at 7. Yeah. And I know there are shorter ways to get. So there you go.
You were not going to.
There you go. Devrel Martin and George Clooney.
You were not going to let that go.
Rosemary's Baby opens up all kinds of stuff.
Okay. All right. That was fun.
Yeah, I love that.
That was fun. We'll have to bring that back.
Yeah.
We'll have to bring that back. All right. We're going to do one just for the missionaries.
Okay.
In Trailer Talk.
Okay.
Deborah Battle just came up with a good one.
Okay.
So we'll do it in Trailer Talk. All right. Right now, let's get into our review. Let's get into our review of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. All right, now it's time for Trailer Talk.
All right, who is it? Who you got? Who you got?
Deborah Battle threw up Debbie Allen.
Oh, Devrel Martin to Debbie Allen. Okay, so that would be Devrel Martin to Debbie Allen.
That's a good one. All right, so Debbie Allen, but she actually was not in a lot of movies.
It's either Fame or The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
All right. Okay. Say Pittsburgh, Stockard Channing.
And was jamming me up because I want Devrel Martin to be in something with Richard Pryor.
I don't think he was in a Richard Pryor.
Well, he wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Oh, boom. Devrel Martin is in I just saw it, like Boss Nigga with Fred Williamson.
Yes.
Fred Williamson is in Adios Amigo with Richard Pryor.
And Richard Pryor
is in because we said we're getting to Debbie Allen.
Mm-hmm.
So Richard Pryor is in so I need to connect Richard Pryor to Debbie Allen. Richard Pryor with Debbie Allen through The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh would be
trying to see all the players.
Would be
There's a whole bunch of no names.
Or Fame, but nobody's in Fame.
Except Irene Cara.
So I'm at Richard Pryor, and I'm trying to get to Debbie Allen.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor is in...
I think. See, that's the thing. Debbie Allen's just not in a lot of movies.
Well, it really is just Fame and The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. And the only dude in The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh is my man from The Last Dragon and Rodney Allen Rippey. Oh! Richard Pryor to Debbie Allen. Richard Pryor is in Which Way Is Up with Margaret Avery. And Margaret Avery
is in
The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
With Debbie Allen.
With Debbie Allen.
There you go. All right. Woo.
That one should have been on the recording. That was a good one.
That was good.
And now it's lost to the mist of time.
It is. It is. That was a good one. That was a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
That was really hard. Farrell Blackwell said, I did not think that Boss Nigga would get mentioned. Well, it's Trailer Talk, so it'll get cut.
I mean, that's the name of the
movie. But it is the
movie.
name of the movie, so we would say it.
Right.
We would say it. You know, we wouldn't use it in any other.
Right. It was actually on my short list for cowboy movies this year.
Blue Girl 718 is saying JoJo Dancer, but Debbie Allen's not in JoJo Dancer. Is she?
I think she might be.
Is she? Hold on, because Blue Girl says that she's screaming at her iPad.
I think
I know
she's
it's
right.
connected to your phone. I can see it.
No, I think she's right. I think.
Oh,
I think Debbie Allen is in JoJo Dancer. She plays one of his wives.
She is. You know who else is in JoJo Dancer? Paula Kelly.
Leggy Peggy.
Leggy Peggy. Oh yeah, I haven't seen that movie in so long. We're going to be watching that.
I was about to say, I know it's coming up.
Yeah, we're going to be watching that with Bobby Booker.
Yeah,
so that'll be fun. The Blue Girl's like, yes, she is. She is capped lock right now.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I see it. She's in there. Okay. All right. Robert Monroe said there should be one of these every episode.
It's kind of fun because again, Devrel Martin has had that kind of career.
Well, hey, he's co-starring on this road with us,
right?
So we'll play the 6 Degrees of Devrel Martin each week.
6 Degrees of Devrel Martin. Okay, all right.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. So next week you can do me.
Okay.
Or no, we'll always do you. It's more fun when you. Yeah. There you go. All right. I like this game too, Janine. Okay. All right. Enough of that. Let's get into our review of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Unless was there anything you wanted to talk about?
No,
of course not.
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. All right.
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? A 1967 romantic comedy drama produced and directed by Stanley Kramer, written by William Rose, starring Sidney Poitier, Katharine Hepburn, featuring her niece, Catherine Houghton, and the final screen appearance of Spencer Tracy. The film was one of the few films of the time to depict an interracial marriage in a positive light, as interracial marriages historically have been illegal in most states of the United States at this time. This film, along with featuring Devrel Martin, also features the feature film debut of one Isabel Sanford in Vincent's selection for episode 278 of the Me Show Mission. Vincent, what do you have to say about Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
What can you say about Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? This is a capital V, capital I, very important film. It is a film that was critically acclaimed when it came out. It was celebrated by the vast majority of the press and by Hollywood. Katharine Hepburn, of course, won an Academy Award.
Yes. For
her performance. 3 actual titans in this film. Like, they were titans at the time when you're talking about Sidney Poitier, Katharine Hepburn, Spencer Tracy. Certainly Isabel Sanford and Bo Richards are beloved character actors at the time.
Bo Richards, who plays
who plays his Mrs. Prentice, his mother. His mother. Stanley Kramer is already at this point a really well-regarded director. A really well-regarded director, so much so that he has moved into producing.
Yeah.
As you said, he produced this film. He had worked with Sidney Poitier previously in The Defiant Ones.
Yes.
A film we've talked about. So this is a film that, frankly, our recommendations we're just following the form. You have to watch Guess Who's Coming to. I mean, this really is one of the most important films of the past 50 years, arguably in American film history. This story of this doctor, Dr. Prentice, who falls in love with this young white woman, and then he comes and has to tell her parents, or they tell her parents, played by Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn. Spencer Tracy, as you mentioned, in his final role, so it also holds a place in film history because of that.
Mm-hmm.
The direction in the script, again, this is Stanley Kramer. This is someone who is a master of his craft.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a film at 140 minutes. An hour and 40 minutes rather. Kind of zippy.
Yep.
For most of it. Like
Yep.
it really, like I have to say, going into it, I was pleasantly surprised
mm-hmm.
with how much over half of this film
mm-hmm.
really moves. A lot of it is actually funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had forgotten how funny it. I think the script is really smart. It's really crisp. Katharine Hepburn. Everyone knows how I have my sort of doubts and I don't really pay much credence to awards, but she's a titan in this. Like you absolutely understand why Katharine Hepburn is Katharine Hepburn,
right,
in this film.
Yes,
she is funny. She sparkles.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in it. Spencer Tracy, for this to be his last film, he's not as vibrant as you get with the classic Spencer Tracy performances. And frankly, I don't think he's as vibrant as Katharine Hepburn.
Right.
But he is still Spencer Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the real flexes that you get from Stanley Kramer and from this script, you get this almost 7-minute speech by Spencer Tracy at the end of the film,
mm-hmm.
where he basically is coordinating Sidney Poitier.
Yeah.
Like there's the plot of the film, but then there's also the overarching theme of the film. Like Sidney Poitier, this is his coordination as the leading man, not the black leading man, but the leading man.
Mm-hmm.
And this is prime Sidney Poitier. I mean, this is 1967 Sidney Poitier, the same year that this comes out. My favorite Sidney Poitier film, In the Heat of the Night, comes out.
Yeah.
And he, I think this is our third film from this kind of classic period.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll bring in To Sir with Love.
Yeah.
And I will say what I always say about Sidney Poitier from this moment. I love to watch Sidney Poitier move. Just his economy of movement.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that is there. Like I said, the script is much zippier for the most part than I remember. So that by the time you get to, ironically, the dinner itself,
right,
where I think it starts to, I'm not going to say drag, but the energy that you get in the first part,
mm-hmm.
you kind of forgive it. And the energy kind of leaves with the dinner because you come to what has always fascinated me about To Sir with Love.
About To Sir with Love?
I'm sorry, about
Guess Who's Coming
Together. This is a film where there's no conflict. No one is actually upset about this. Like, I think the zippiness of the first part of the film is watching these two veteran actors, Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy, react to this unexpected news.
Mm-hmm.
And Sidney Poitier, already a master thespian,
mm-hmm.
kind of navigate.
Mm-hmm.
But once it's settled in, like once everyone knows what's going on, like you want to say hand wringing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there aren't really that many hands being wrung at all.
Yeah. A couple of the beats kind of repeat themselves.
And it really goes to the issue. Two issues that this film has always been dogged by. First and foremost, speaking of Sidney Poitier in earlier films, I've always been a defender of Sidney Poitier during this period, and this generalization that he is an asexual being,
okay,
and that he doesn't have sexuality. And once again, sort of documented. I think in the Defiant ones, there's very much this energy when he and
Tony
Curtis go into the house with the white woman, and the white woman is sort of playing them.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the heat of the night, I think there's a pop between his detective Tibbs and the widow.
Yes,
of the factory,
right,
that basically pushes for Tibbs to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then To Serve with Love, the students trying to sleep with him, the teachers trying to sleep with him, the mothers of the students half the dudes trying to sleep with him.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, he is actually asexual in here.
Mm.
Like, they make a point of saying they haven't had sex. Like, that's part of the narrative. There's no real chemistry between them.
Mm.
Infamously, the only kiss you see between this couple that has fallen heads over heels with each other over this 10-day period, you see a kiss in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
So there is that. And this is one of the very few times where I absolutely agree with the criticism that a Sidney Poitier character is asexual.
Mm.
The other issue is what I call the Othello problem.
Okay.
The problem with watching Othello in modern times is that social mores have changed so much that it doesn't it's not really that challenging, like just the very concept of a black man with a white woman. B, because it's a Shakespeare play, by definition, it's always some 6'14" Shakespearean trained deep, like it's always like Dennis Haysbert playing Othello. Who could object to their daughter being with this guy?
I can see that. I can see that objection.
Who in polite society could have an objection? Like, there could be an objection, but he's perfect. Dr. Prentice.
Oh, to
right.
To
But even the way most people play Othello, like I said, it's always, oh, Desdemona, how do you? And it's like, we get to kind of be pompous in the audience and go, I can't believe how ignorant and small-minded these people are in the town of. It's like, no, it's Dr. Prentice is perfect.
Right.
He's a doctor. He's training other doctors in Africa to save other children. At one point, Spencer Tracy's character says he will save hundreds of thousands of lives. He's going to work for the World Health Organization. He's immaculate. Again, this is Sidney Poitier in 1967. So he is immaculate. No one wears a suit in 1967 like Sidney Poitier. He has, he has the voice. He has the sensibilities. He is kind. Everything about him. So that there's never a moment where there's any tension in the film, to the point where actual objections that any ordinary person would have, like, for instance, you've known him 10 days.
Yeah.
He's 37 years old. You're 23. You're talking about getting married in 2 weeks. Like, these are all objections that a reasonable person would have. But because it's Sidney Poitier playing Dr. Prentice, it just doesn't stick.
Right.
So that the final part kind of pulls it. But again, just to circle back to what I said in the beginning, it doesn't really matter because this is a very important film.
Right.
And I was just very thankful that the parts that moved as much as it did.
Okay. It sounds like you really, really liked the movie.
You know what? I liked it way more than I remembered liking it. Like I said, I thought this script was a lot zippier than I remembered. And I have to say, Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy, just like I'm a sucker for them. Like we were talking about Devrel Martin and that scene with Devrel Martin. Like there's a little side journey. It has absolutely nothing to do with the plot of the film, where Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn go and get ice cream and black coffee.
Yeah.
I could have watched 20 minutes of them driving around San Francisco,
driving in the street,
just sort of being Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy.
Yeah, they were cool. I think it's interesting that you point out how luminous Katharine Hepburn is in this film, and I agree. She definitely pops off the screen. I'm a classic movie guy, so I've long been a fan of Katharine Hepburn. As much as I am a fan of her, I always do think that she is someone that when she's on screen, I don't see her character. I see Katharine Hepburn.
Sure.
But there are some actors that are like that. Cary Grant's like that. So it's just a matter of whether or not they're being who they are fits for whatever they're doing. And there are times when Katharine Hepburn doesn't fit, but this time Katharine Hepburn, a slightly older Katharine Hepburn, fits perfectly. I also think that it is a credit to her acting talent that she radiates off the screen as much as she does, because Spencer Tracy, who she had for a long time been in a relationship with, and we'll just call it a relationship because that's what it was. Spencer Tracy was deathly ill. And we say that this is his final performance. He passed away 19 days after they wrapped filming.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was like he literally could not be insured for the movie because they didn't think he's not going to make it. So Katharine Hepburn and Stanley Kramer actually put up for the insurance to cover Spencer Tracy because they wanted him in the film. And she had to be on top of her game. She also had to kind of like be on top of his game, making sure that he got to the set on time, monitoring exactly how much he was doing. He pretty much only worked about 3 or 4 hours a day because of his stamina and all of his different ailments. So the fact that she is able to shine while that is very much on her mind is another credit to the woman's ferocity and her talent. And as great as she is in this movie, this is a role that, she went to her grave never watching.
I know. Yeah.
It was Spencer Tracy's last film. Spencer Tracy, like you said, he's a beast. I'm a huge Spencer Tracy fan. I like him. And as much as Spencer Tracy has been acting and has been Spencer Tracy since the 30s.
Right.
But honestly, it's when Spencer Tracy starts to get that gray in his hair, that's the Spencer Tracy that I like.
Right.
He's just like all raspy and just don't give a damn. He's all dope. And Sidney Poitier, who, even though at the age of 37, and had been acting since the 50s, like you mentioned in the Defiant Ones, which was in the late 50s. Sidney Poitier now, 1967. This is his year. You mentioned To Sir with Love.
Oh yeah.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Heat of the Night.
Heat of the Night.
Oh yeah.
This is his year, and it had been rightfully coming for the man, right? And he had been dealing with a whole bunch of stuff, and he had dealt with the criticisms and things that you had said that had been levied at his feet. And met them all head on and just steadfastly doing his part, and felt that it was important for him to be in this film, important for him to play this role. And even though this role, like you said, of Dr. Prentice is this like perfect person, the idea of the writer, William Rose and Stanley Kramer, was that to make him perfect so that the only objection could be because he was black.
Right.
But as you point out, the other objections are that he just met this chick 10 days ago in Hawaii.
And he's 37.
And, well, I push back on the 37 a little bit only because the truth of the matter is in those days.
That's true. That's very true.
You're an adult. You're both adults.
That's very true.
It 37, 23. It wasn't out of the realm.
Right. You're right.
So
you're right.
I'll push back on that. What I won't push back on is the other thing that you point out is that not only did they just meet 10 days ago, the movie is telling me that they fell head over heels in love.
Yes.
My eyes are telling me ain't no way in the world Sidney Poitier
look, man,
is falling for this little girl.
I know.
This little privileged girl. Because when you watch this movie through 21st century eyes, oh man, she might as well just have a cape that just says Captain Privilege on it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, because she just feels like the world should move for her, change the menu up because they're inviting everyone and their grandma to dinner at the last minute.
Yeah.
You're like, yes, my mother and father will absolutely have no problem. Why would they have any problem with you being black? I don't have a problem with you being black. They won't have a problem with you being black. Mom, tell Dr. Prentice that you don't have a problem with him being black.
Also, I'm flying to
and I'm flying to Geneva in 2 weeks. Because
wait, not 2 weeks. Oh,
tonight. Because why shouldn't we be married? I thought about it, mother, and it doesn't make absolutely any sense for him to go to Geneva without me. So I'm going to go to Geneva with him. I'll continue my schooling later. Like, what? Who in the hell? So, and honestly, I feel that every time I watch the movie.
I know.
And it's no disrespect to Catherine Houghton.
I feel so bad for her.
Because that's the role.
Yeah. And I just feel bad for her. Like this poor kid is just in a room with Sidney Poitier and Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn all the time.
Yeah. Now, the story goes is that there was a speech where she kind of like shows a little bit more depth about, where her head is at, that was cut from the film. And it was cut from the film by the director and the writer because they basically wanted to keep her in the box in which she appears in the movie. And that, unfortunately, is to the detriment of the character, not the actress. Like I said, Catherine Houghton, she's doing her job. I mean, yes, did she get this job because she's Katharine Hepburn's niece? Okay.
Yeah.
But who among us haven't gotten a foot in the door?
Right.
At the end of the day, you still got to keep the door open.
Right.
And she doesn't do anything to close the door in this movie.
Right.
But her character is grating like a mug and getting on my freaking nerves from the moment I see her. And there's absolutely no chemistry.
Yeah, none.
Between her and Sidney Poitier. And also, as much as liberal as Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn's characters are portrayed, and as much as this film wants to challenge their liberalism, which is what you're seeing in them trying to, reconcile with, this, it's a black man, 37-year-old widower,
right,
who was dating my daughter. As much as it wants to do that, I feel that it capes those two characters up to the detriment of the other black characters in the film. Not Sidney Poitier.
Sure, not him.
But I'm talking about his parents who fly up from San Francisco to have dinner with them. And while played by Bo Richards and Roy Glenn Jr. Bo Richards, yes, does she get a kind of a nice scene with Spencer Tracy and talking about how, you just forgot all about love and so had, my husband.
I love Bo Richards.
And it's a nice scene.
Yeah.
But Spencer Tracy then in that 7-minute summation that you talk about,
right,
one of the places that he makes sure is to visit is to check Bo
Right.
the mother,
Yeah.
about in that he does remember love,
Right.
and he does remember the love that he has for his wife. So that's him smacking her down.
Mm-hmm.
Then his father, who was much like in the film Spencer Tracy was, you know, you're marrying this white woman. Are you out of your mind?
Mm-hmm.
No, this is not going to happen. And you could say he's coming at it from a totally different point of view, because he can only come at this with his perspective,
Right,
on a black man.
right.
And his father is a retired mailman,
Mm-hmm.
who, in his perspective, you can almost see he's never met a white person that he can 100% trust.
Right,
Let alone a white woman.
right,
Let alone this white little girl.
right,
Who is just Pollyannaing all up in my face.
right,
And son, can't you see that?
right.
So that's his point of view. And he's angry, and he's angry about it. And his son, who is 100% deferential to Sidney Poitier, then has the nerve to jump in his father's face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And throw his father's history back in his face before saying, like, Dad, like, you see yourself as a Negro man.
Yes.
I see myself as a man.
Yes. Yes. It's 1967.
But I love you, Pop.
Yeah.
I'm your son. Look, you could tell this was written by a white
right,
man.
Right.
In
1967.
And another way you could tell it's written by a white man. Spencer Tracy's character is a owner of a newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
So, with this nice high rise in New York, or no,
San Francisco,
in Los Angeles, because the parents flew up from San Francisco to be there. Right. On the West Coast, whatever. Right. He owns a newspaper. He's got money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They've got money. He finds out the type of man that Dr. Prentice is. Mm-hmm. That he's got all these accolades. He's famous. His Irish brogue priest's best friend even knows him. Like, oh my God, you've got a famous man in here. Do you know who's here? This is not Sammy Davis. This is a cut above Sammy Davis. Like,
don't say that.
And what does Spencer Tracy says upon learning that this man who he cannot knock at all. This man who made a long distance call in your house and left $2.50.
That's right.
For the charges for the long distance call, can't knock him at all. But upon learning what his father did, he says, "How can a mailman raise a son like that?
A son like this? Yeah.
Excuse me? The same way you raise your privileged kid. Right. You do what you do and you raise your kid. Get the out of here, man." So, but then in that 7-minute summation at the end, Spencer Tracy is, eventually your father will come around to where I am.
Yes, because his dad ain't signed up for it.
Because his dad still ain't signed up for it. He still ain't signed up for it at the end of the movie.
I like that
now,
detail.
Spencer Tracy smacks him down. Isabel Sanford, the maid, Tilly, upon seeing this black man come into the house, all she's saying is he must be some con dude.
Yeah.
I guess coming from her point of view of black guys and seeing them as con men or whatever, whatever her viewpoint of black men, right? And she is basically telling Spencer Tracy when he comes into the house, oh, all types of hell is breaking up in here. You need to get a hold of this. And, she calls upon herself to try and check Sidney Poitier. You're like, listen here, I've been raising this young girl since she was in diapers, and you ain't going to... Excuse me. I didn't know Mammy was in this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? But never fear, because in that 7-minute summation, Spencer Tracy smacks Isabel Sanford down. It's like she's causing all type of ruckus. You shouldn't be doing that. Mind your manner and put the dinner on the table.
Yes.
So I'm like, this movie is kind of rubbing me a little bit wrong.
Oh, this is interesting.
And then there was another thing that tells me the privilege, and this is written by a white man.
Okay.
The daughter is telling her mother about the first time when they met.
Yes.
In Hawaii.
Yes.
And she says she's out on the balcony at night in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
It's nighttime.
Yes.
And she mentions it's nighttime. It's dark for only the stars. I didn't even see him there until he moved. Excuse me?
Okay, Len.
So
I
didn't see.
I don't think they were.
You didn't see him until he stepped out of the door.
I was about to say, at least she didn't say until he smiled.
That's code.
Okay, Len.
Until I didn't see him until I saw the whites of his eyes. That's what that is.
That also bothered you.
That bothered me. I'm surprised you didn't bump on that line.
I didn't.
I bumped the hell out of that line, man.
I've heard similar
I was
lines.
like, did she just say he stepped out of the dark? Darkness moved, and it was Sidney Poitier. Get the hell out of here.
There have been similar sentiments about white men.
He stepped out of the sun? No, I've never heard that.
Oh, boy.
The darkness moved.
Look, I think it goes without saying that the black character, I have to say this. I've always halfway been shocked that his parents were even in the movie.
Okay, yeah.
Because frankly, much like you say about Joey's role, the white girl that he's engaged to, she's an afterthought. Like, she's almost an afterthought.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, everyone knows who the players are in this film. And everyone else is just sort of an afterthought.
Right.
So I always like the fact that his parents even had a voice. Like, I think your critiques of their voice is perfectly spot on. But frankly, whenever we talk about this situation, oftentimes we go right to her family, or the white family is the one that's really upset and has reservations and everything that goes along with that. So I appreciated in the interracial love film,
okay,
you had his family kind of like, what are you doing right now? Like what is happening right now? And I ain't like him coming at his dad the way he came at his dad either. And I'm glad like I got, I'm real sensitive about dad stuff, obviously, over the past year. So I was like, well, I don't know. I guess a white man wrote this. I don't know. I don't really, but I said, all right, fine. Well, but Sidney Poitier being Sidney Poitier, he does kind of lessen it at the end. And he says,
yeah, but I think that's just the writing.
Right. And Isabel Sanford, look, she's clearly the comedy relief.
I know.
She's clearly there to cut up. I have to say, the one scene with she and Sidney Poitier together where she comes into his room and just goes both barrels.
Yeah.
I laughed. That actually. And when she said, and you ain't even that handsome.
Yes.
I said, okay, Isabel Sanford, I guess sometimes the actress makes the role.
Yes, of course. You have to worry about, it's Isabel Sanford who would years later fall for Sherman Hemsley. So,
and she was going to have her own sassy maid.
Yeah. So, are we really trusting her eyes?
Are we really?
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I understood that she was a comedy relief, and I just would have liked a little bit more sensitivity played to her character. And what's the deal with Barbara Randolph as the girl Dorothy, who walks in.
Let me tell you,
it's basically just a bait.
Let me tell you, I have never felt more in sync with a character on screen than when Paul Prentice said, "Well, who's that?" Because I said the same thing.
Well, who's that?
I said, "Whoa, who is that?"
Yeah.
And then that's Dorothy. And then Dorothy gets one little scene, and then Dorothy's gone from the movie.
I know, just dances her way out of the
Just
movie
dances-
with a white guy.
Well, I guess. Well, I think
I
it's
understand.
it's a new day, and even my beloved ice cream scene where they're there with the young people, and it's just a new day. But yeah, I could have had more Dorothy.
I could have had more Dorothy, more Barbara Randolph. Did you read the Barbara Randolph story?
I did not.
Barbara Randolph,
because I was running out of time doing stuff because I had to watch Love Life.
Yes, you did.
So Toya wouldn't be angry at me.
At one time, Barbara Randolph was up for replacing first Diana Ross, then possibly Flo Ballard in the Supremes.
I did not. That's a good pull.
But
because I sure meant to look her up.
But she didn't make the move. Barry Gordy was going to put her into the Supremes when he was thinking about spinning Diana Ross off solo.
Okay.
But then he realized it wasn't quite yet time.
Okay.
So then he said, well, she'll replace Flo because Flo was dealing with some personal issues.
Yeah.
But Diana said no because Flo's my girl.
Right.
So Barbara Randolph, who was signed to a deal with Motown, didn't end up in the Supremes and ultimately never even released an album.
Oh.
So this is really Barbara Randolph's shining moment.
Oh, you give Barbara Randolph, yeah, because she was bad.
Yeah.
I forgot. I'd forgotten all about her.
Yeah.
I was with Dr. Prentice.
You were with Dr. Prentice.
Who is that in the background?
So I land on that. First of all, I was very surprised that this wasn't a play. Like
it has a play rhythm to it.
It's got a play rhythm.
Really
it's
does.
all in basically one set.
Yeah.
And
it's a testament to Stanley Kramer's skill.
Yeah.
That it doesn't feel claustrophobic.
Not at all. Not at all. The script for the most part, it's a little sanctimonious at times, but it does pop, and I think that is a credit to the actors that are there. I think I land on, for the most part, liking the film. I certainly would recommend it. I'm sorry, jumping the gun, but yes, I would certainly recommend it.
How you gonna tell somebody you don't have to watch Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Yeah,
of course you have to watch Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
But I do think it's a film that, especially like I said, looking through 21st century lens, that you are going to bump up against some things.
Yeah, some of it doesn't age.
It doesn't age super well. This is like Heat of the Night ages well.
Well, I think
this doesn't age as well.
Right. I think this is the that whole class in school of Sidney Poitier criticism.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one film that I say, yeah, people have a point. Like they talk about, like, when you read the history of this film, like apparently there was this infamous story in the New Yorker about Sidney Poitier and how there needed to be more accurate representation. And I was reading the I was reading some James Baldwin, and James Baldwin had a lot of criticism of the Sidney Poitier film vehicle and how he was basically America's favorite Negro.
Yeah.
But I do think In the Heat of the Night, Lilies of the Field, To Sir with Love, like I think they age really well. Like,
no, they do.
And again, I do think that there's a lot more passion to Sidney Poitier than he gets credit for.
Yeah, and then when you read more of his story and the challenges that he felt, and how strategic he tried to be in making the film choices that he made. Was he as staunchly, of as staunch of an activist as, say, Harry Belafonte. Possibly not, but he was doing his thing.
Look, at some point, this film had to be made.
Right.
Like a version of this film had to be made.
Right.
I don't know who else could have played this role. Like you just mentioned Harry Belafonte. And I think Harry Belafonte is like I think there's a real coolness to Sidney Poitier that you can kind of play that asexual game with him for an hour and 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much you play that with Harry Belafonte.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much you can put Harry Belafonte in that suit and have him wander around the house for an hour and 40 minutes. And that girl talks about how much he just loves his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not 1967 Harry Belafonte.
Maybe if they put Devrel Martin in
Devrel Martin had a bigger role. Like Devrel Martin plays Dr. Prentice.
Yeah.
And Sidney Poitier plays the dude driving the speedster.
Yes. Just rams into Spencer Tracy.
That's a very strange parallel universe where that happened.
That's guess who the fuck is coming.
Look at my car. Look what you did to my car. I'm like, what is Devrel Martin doing?
I know.
It's going to be $45 to fix this.
Man makes choices. I'll give him that.
You always know it's him.
You always know it's Devrel Martin because I'm gonna make a choice.
Right. And he didn't have that weird mustache.
No.
And yet you still knew it was Devrel Martin. Yeah.
Because he made a choice.
Because he made a choice and he sticks to that choice.
Spencer, watch this.
I was about to say, and Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy have to sit there and listen to this choice.
Yep. Deborah Battle in the chat mentioned that her favorite Katharine Hepburn scene is when she is dealing with her co-worker from the museum.
Oh, that's
her,
when she fires her.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty epic.
That is a great scene. That's a great scene.
Look, like I said, the whole first part, the two of them telling Katharine Hepburn seeing Sidney Poitier behind Joey as Joey's trying to get around to it. And her whole, Katharine, I'm not saying anything that Katharine Hepburn was a great comedic actor. This is why people watch movies. Like Katharine Hepburn reacting to him being black coming out of that room.
Yeah.
And then Sidney Poitier with that very kind of mannered, but wry look on his face. This is why people go to movies.
Yeah.
Spencer Tracy figuring it out after he's left the room. And he's acting with his back towards you. I'm like, oh, yeah. This is it right here.
Yeah. Beast.
Yeah. So
would you recommend that people watch this film, Vince?
I would recommend that people watch this film. Like I said, it slows down, ironically, at the dinner. But it's actually,
the dinner actually doesn't happen till the very end.
Right. But I'm saying, and it's kind of disappointing because the film is moving.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of stops because, as I said, A, there's no real conflict. B, to your point, I think his parents are an afterthought. Even with that, though, I love to see Bo Richards.
Oh, yeah.
I love seeing Bo. But, I would absolutely recommend. Look, you got to watch this.
There you go.
And you?
Well, I said it.
Yeah.
You got to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Full stop. Got to watch it. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, ladies and gentlemen, from 1967, the film that not only, you know what? I'll say this.
Okay.
Yes, you should watch it. But as a recent purchaser of a DVD player,
I was, you know what, Len? Let the record show. I have never brought it up. We're on episode 2. What now?
278.
278. And your DVD player was non-existent.
Well, I had a DVD. I had a DVD.
What
player.
had happened was
I had a DVD player, but I hadn't watched it forever.
Right.
And then somewhere along the mission, we had to watch a DVD.
I know who would have thunk.
Right. You know. Right. And I is when I realized that my DVD player, I hadn't watched it in so long. I never plugged it into my newer TVs.
Yeah.
And it didn't have the right connections.
Didn't have the right connections.
So eventually, I mean, I think even for that movie, I borrowed a DVD player.
Yes. Yeah. It was a comedy of errors with that.
Yes, I borrowed a DVD player. So now
then a year later,
when
another DVD came up,
then I had to go purchase a DVD player, which you can get for like $30. So I got it in Blu-ray.
Yeah. At some point, I'm probably going to have, we're going to have to watch something on VHS. So I'll give you a heads up for that. We're going to have to get you a VCR. Actually, we're going to have to get me a VCR too.
Yeah, everybody's got it.
Yeah. But go ahead. As a recent DVD player owner,
I will say that Guess Who's Coming to Dinner is a movie that is worth owning.
Okay.
It is a movie worth owning. It is a movie that is, might make for interesting conversation, with a group of friends to just put this movie on from 1967 and just kind of like watching and talk about it.
Because I do wonder how many people have actually watched it.
Yeah.
Like we all talk about it,
but
how many people have
seen scenes
actually watch it? I mean, when's the last time you watched it?
Well, to be fair, I probably watched it about maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah, it's been at least 10 years since I've seen it. Yeah, and like I said, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I'm the outlier because I wake up in the morning and I turn the classic and see what movie is on. So, So and there's probably not too many because it wasn't a hit, but a few people who've only seen the adaptation with Bernie Mac. Guess Who? Which we unfortunately will eventually get
because
one May.
Certainly I have a rant about that
here on the mission. I've actually never seen the film. Yeah. And I think it's one of his last films.
Yeah.
But Ashton Kutcher. I couldn't remember.
Right. When it's a black guy getting with a white woman, it's got to be Sidney Poitier and he's perfect. But then the white guy can get with a little sister, it can just be dumbass Ashton Kutcher.
Right.
Because that's the way it works.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
So anyway, so if you've only seen that,
yes,
then please,
yes,
watch Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. All right, the modern day equivalent of this movie. I don't know what the modern day equivalent of this movie would be.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Email us.
Yes.
Email us, ladies and gentlemen.
And connected to Devrel Martin.
Email us. What do you think is the modern day? Just blew my mind right there. Equivalent of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. You can email us at the Michaud Mission at gmail.com. Before we tell you what we're going to be watching next week, I invite you all to like and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, as well as on YouTube. Subscribe at Michaud Mission on all your social media. The Michaud Mission, 2 men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. Go to our website where you can hit swag and check out all the cool designs and gifts coming to you by way of our friends at TeePublic. You can also subscribe to the Michaud Mission Dispatch, our weekly newsletter. It's actually falling out of rhythm lately because we've been busy on special projects that haven't been able. Yeah, we got a bunch of special projects coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. So we've been grinding. The Michaud Mission is a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com, curated podcast for your listening pleasure. They make podcasts work. And I also invite you, if you don't mind, if you like podcasts, and check out my new podcast, The Rule of Man.
Rule of Man.
New episodes available every Monday at theruleofman.com or everywhere that you find good podcasts. Me and a bunch of friends talking about manhood, answering questions from women. It's pretty cool. We had a good this most recent episode, Vince. We got into a very, very intense discussion about keeping the toilet seat up. So I invite everybody to check that out. All right. Next week on the Michaud Mission, it is my turn.
Yes, it is.
At bat. And actually, next week is actually episode 278. My apologies. And I believe this is not our first documentary, but it's our first documentary in quite a while.
Yes, a long while. Yes,
in quite a long while. But it of all the documentaries to do, this one is definitely the one to do.
Yes, sir.
As we sit down and watch and review I Am Not Your Negro.
I know that's right.
The story of one James Baldwin.
Love James Baldwin.
You know why? I remember I watched this documentary in the theaters.
When it first came out. I remember.
And I knew James Baldwin, had read some of his writings, not a lot of them. And I always liked the idea of what I knew about James Baldwin, but I just didn't really do the homework.
Sure.
And this movie was kind of like Cliff Notes James Baldwin, but of these were the best Cliff Notes I've ever had.
Sure.
Because this movie made me come out of this saying like, oh, this man really was a beast.
Look,
this man was indeed a beast.
Yeah.
And
one of my heroes.
I am very happy to review this film. I Am Not Your Negro next week on the road to 300.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen. All right. We are about to get out of here. This has been so much fun. He's Vincent. I'm Len. And in parting, we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.